In today's episode on the beginner's guide to video editing in Premiere Pro, I'm going to take you through the process of how I edit my videos from start to end. So, watch the video to the end as I'll show you some cool tricks on how to ease your workflow in Premiere Pro. And without much further ado, let's get started with the video. The first thing I do before I edit my tutorial videos is to duplicate the template folder and I give it a name. So this is just a temporary name, my editing process that I'll use for this video. So inside here I have the edit folder, export and footage folder, and I have a video talking about everything here which I'm going to link in the description or above. I will open this edit folder, and inside the edit folder I have the Premiere Pro file called edit and After Effects file called edit, which I use to edit the videos. And same thing, I have the tutorial and Premiere Pro files called tutorial, which I use to create the tutorials. Now I've duplicated the Premiere Pro file called edit to edit tutorial because I'm going to show you my process of editing these, so I need the files for these. So I'm going to double click to open this up. These are all of the folders that I will use to keep my files organized in Premiere Pro or while editing the video. So when I open the footage folder up, I can import the files that I need to work with. Then go back and open the sequence folder, and inside the sequence folder I just have an adjustment layer and the edit sequence, which I can right click, go down to sequence settings, and inside the sequence settings you're going to see the frame size, which is 1080 by 1920. Reason because the video I'm going to be editing is for YouTube Reels, it's for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels and TikTok, which are vertical videos. Hit on OK, then double click to open this up. So this is a sequence, and as you can see, so going back to the footage folder, I'm going to drag the video, then hit on keep existing settings and the audio. So when creating my tutorials, I record my audio separate from my videos, and I need to sync them up in Premiere Pro to make sure that it matches up. And to do that, I'm going to select everything, right click, then go down until I see synchronize. Hit on that, then choose how I want it to be synchronized, either these options, or I just prefer using the audio, then track channel, and I select audio 2, which is this here, the main audio coming out from my mic, then hit on OK. After doing that, it's going to mash up, and I can test it by positioning my playhead somewhere around here, which I know it matches up. As you can see, the wavelengths, they are like kind of similar. Then I'm going to position my playhead somewhere around here, where I notice that these waveframes this waveframe or these wavelengths are almost identical, but this has a higher height because it's more audible more than the one coming out from my video. So I'll press the Q key and it will cut everything except this area, which I can select. Then while holding the option key, I'll press delete so that it will delete that and also remove the empty space. Next, I need to reposition this to make sure that it fits correctly. As you can see, it does not fit right. I'm going to select the video clip, go under the effect controls, then move this slightly to the left, and I can also zoom out depending on what I'm going for. So something around here, then adjust the position. I can choose to delete this layer because I don't need it anymore since this is the main audio file. So I'm going to select it, holding down the option key. I'm going to press the up arrow key to move this upward, and it's going to replace that layer above. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut the video and make sure that it's smooth. I mostly use the Q and the W key to cut out the sections that I don't need. Like for example, if I position my playhead right here, I'm going to press C, that's for the razor tool. Holding down the shift key, I'm going to click on this to cut the two layers at once. Reason because my two layers are already separated. So if I don't use that, it will cut just the layer above. Then I can move around here, press the Q key or the W key. I'm going to move around here, press the W key to cut everything to the left. Then move somewhere around here, that's the end I'm sure. Press the W key to cut everything to the right. When I'm done cutting everything in my video, the next thing is to add an adjustment layer, which I'm going to use to scale up the video. That's to zoom in and zoom out, just to add in some little dynamics to the video. Under my sequence folder, I have an adjustment layer that I've already created and kept for easy usage. I'm going to expand this throughout my video. Then selecting this adjustment layer, I'm going to go under the effects panel, search the transform effect, double click to add it. Under the effect controls, I'm going to locate the scale property, set the first keyframe for that. While holding the shift key, I'm going to press the right arrow key twice to move ahead, set in the second keyframe, then back to the first keyframe. I always choose to set the first keyframe to about 120 just to zoom in a little bit. Let me select this bottom layer and then position this and this around here. I think that's okay. Then what I do is I'll select this motion, press Command C to copy it and paste it here so that they will have the same position or alignment. One other thing I need to show you is this, which is the feed. So when walking, I used to allow it at the feed so that I can see everything. But when I want to walk in thirdly, I can zoom in here, set it to about 100, and then I can move right here to like adjust everything. But I prefer setting it up to fit. When I play this, it's going to zoom out. And the cool thing I love about this is that when I uncheck the use composition, shooter angle and set this to 360, it's going to add some blurriness to it, which is going to be like serve as a good transition into the video. And stay tuned to the end, which I'm going to show you some light leaks that I use for my videos, which I'm going to share with you guys for free. Then I can play through the video where I find it necessary to add in some zoom transitions into the video. I'm going to position my playhead at that position, set in the first keyframe, move ahead, and set in the second keyframe, which I'm going to just increase this by 5%, which is 105, just to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to just allow it like this for now, just for tutorial's sake. Or let me add in another one, setting it back to its default value, which is 100. Next, I'm going to add in some images or videos and even some text depending on what I'm going for in the video or what I'm saying and trying to explain. So if it requires a video, I'm going to add that. If it requires an image, I'm going to add that. For this tutorial, I'm going to add in a text box. And as you can see here, I have everything figured out and I have some templates for that. So if I scroll down to effects, I'll open that up and I'm going to go down again to the text box. So I have some text box effects which I've already created so that I can just copy and paste in my videos. So for this first one, which is a basic text box, I'm going to double click to open it up, which is a sequence. I'm going to move this up again. Reason because I know that in my main edit sequence, I have this and this layer, which are two, which is video 1 and video 2. So I'll need space for that. That's why you see that video 1 and video 2 are empty. Same thing with audio 1 is empty. So I'm going to select this up and copy it. Go back to the main sequence. Let's say I want to elaborate on something. I can choose to add the text box right here. And that's it. Though it's really small, I'll click on it, then set it to about, let's say, 60, then reposition it. So this is just like styling it up, and I can go to the essential graphics where I'll find every property that I need to change. So for example, let's say under the text folder, I can change the text to something else. Let's just say hello. Select everything, then go down and I can change the size to about 150 and I can make it all caps. This is just for tutorial's sake. Increase the spacing, something like this. I think that's okay. Go back to the effect controls, and for the scale property, I'm going to set this to about, let's say, 80 so that it will be really large. So that's how I can easily add in my text. Because of this, I have the templates that I just need to copy and paste, rather than like if I select this again and then I go under the essential graphics, you can see I have so many effects that I will need to like add, which would take me a lot of time, and this will ease my workflow. And I also have the sound effect that just goes with this to complement the effect. So this is something that you should really do. Try creating customized templates for your edits so that you know that each time you want to edit, you just need to copy and paste those edits. This will really ease your workflow in Premiere Pro and save you a lot of time to do other things. So after adding my text to the video, images, videos, or even sound effects corresponding to the images that I've added, going up to text, I'm going to go under transcript. And under transcript, you'll find the transcribe sequence button. And if I hit on this, it's going to transcribe this sequence. But first, I need to choose a track in which I want to transcribe. So I know I have some sound effects here, and I think if I allow it at mix, it's going to do the 2 audio layers, and that won't be accurate. So I'll need to choose audio 1, which is the main audio layer. Then click on transcribe. Premiere Pro is done doing its thing, but you can see the text is not really accurate. So I'll need to go through all of this, then edit the text one after the other to make sure it matches up with what I'm saying. And episode 2 of this series talks about text and captions and everything related to graphics and text in Premiere Pro. So I'm going to leave that up for you to like go through the video again. If you've not watched the video, you can go through and learn everything you need to know about creating text and editing your captions and generating your captions, editing it up in Premiere Pro. Everything you need to know, it's in that video concerning text. So let's say I'm done editing the text and I'm okay with it. I'm going to hit on this, which is create captions, and for this I'm going to set this to 1 to 16, and for the minimum duration in seconds I prefer setting it up to 1.6. So if you have set this maximum length to about 20, it's preferable that you set your minimum duration in seconds to 2.0. I've noticed that when I set these two values like that, it's going to accurately match up what I'm saying with the text in the video. And I prefer setting up this at single, and for the gap between captions, I just prefer allowing it to 0, which is default value. But you can play around with this to come up with something unique or customized, and click on create. So when Premiere Pro is done creating the captions, you're going to find the captions here, and this yellow line and this extra layer, which is C1, which stands for caption 1 layer, will be created above everything. So I'm going to move my playhead somewhere around here where I'll be seeing the caption below. Select everything, then go under the essential graphics and customize the caption. Like I earlier said, I'll leave the video above so that you can follow along on how to create captions in Premiere Pro. So I'm just going to fast forward this process of customizing my captions. And after customizing the captions, I'll go to the very start of my video, then play the video. If you're a video editor and make sure that the caption matches, you should try creating it GTA 6. And if it does not matches up, let's say for example, this text does not have to start from here. I'm going to just reposition it. Same thing like your normal video clips, the way you edit them, you can reposition it, cut and delete the areas that you don't want. And after doing that, I'm going to adjust my sound to make it to be more audible. And to do that, I'm going to click right here, go to the audio layer. It's not actually the audio layer, but the audio layout in which Premiere Pro has for you. Click on this. Then the first thing I'm going to add is a denoise to make sure that the video is quite audible. Then add in a heart limiter to boost the audio levels. And finally, we have the parametric equalizer, which I'm going to use to like equalize everything and make my voice sound more audible. So for the denoise, I prefer setting this up to 10% because I don't have a noisy area where I'm recording. But if you do, you can bump this up depending on what your audio layer, depending on what your audio sounds like. And for the heart limiter, I prefer setting this up to limit it to negative 6 decibels. I have the parametric equalizer. And for the parametric equalizer, I always set it to voice enhancer or the loudness maximizer. So you can go around, play around with all of these options, and you'll find it very useful. Then when I'm done with everything, I go back to all panels, which is the preferred panel in which I'll work with. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to select all of the graphics that I've added to my video, hold the option key and move it one layer above to have an empty space like this, which I'm going to use for color grading. So selecting this adjustment layer, I'm going to hold down the option key or the Alt key, click and drag up to duplicate that. Select it, go under the effect controls, then locate the transform effect, delete that because we don't need it. We just need this adjustment layer to color grade our footage. And since I know I use the same camera for all of my videos, I have a preset for my color grading. So, and it's a customized preset. So I'm going to go under the effect panel, search the color grade which I use for my video, which is this. So I'm going to drag and drop on top of the adjustment layer, and you can see the video has been color graded. But if I see that it's too much, what I can do is I'm going to select that adjustment layer, and under the effect controls, I'm going to find the opacity panel or the opacity property, and I'll reduce this about 20% down, that's 80%, and you can see the difference. So next we are going to add light leaks, and I've already imported everything in my template folder. So I'm just going to drag and drop it, and I'll leave a link down in the description where you can get some light leaks like this. So I have to make this to be really short because you don't want some light leaks to be that long. Let's see, somewhere around here. Until here, this is okay. And the tool I'm using is the red stretch tool, which a keyboard shortcut is arrow. You can just click on this to get this red stretch tool. And the difference between using the red stretch tool and the normal selection tool is that when you use a selection tool, it's going to cut it out, but with the red stretch tool, it's going to just reduce the duration and increase the speed of the video clip you're working with. So with this, I need to keep every detail of the light leaks. That's why I'm using the red stretch tool. So selecting this, you can notice that it's 1920 by 1080, but I'm working with a 1080 by 1920 resolution, which is vertical. So I'm going to go under the effect controls, locate the rotation and set this to 90 degrees, which is going to set that to a vertical orientation. Next, for the opacity, I'm going to set this to about 70, and for the blend mode, I'm going to set this to screen. And that's all you need to do to add a light leak. Sometimes I use this as a transition, just as a minimal transition. So I'm going to copy this, and where I want to add the transition is somewhere around here. So I'm going to paste it here. And let me play this for you guys to see the light leaks as a transition. Next, let's talk about exporting the video. So I'm going to set the I in point, pressing I, and make sure my playhead is at the very start. Then the out point should be at the end. Then press Command M for the export window. Now, I've created a video talking about my export settings and how I created my export templates, and I'll leave a link down in the description and above where you can follow along to create an export settings for your videos. You just need to choose the settings for your export and hit on export to export that video, and Premiere Pro is going to do its thing. Hope you found the video useful and interesting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to support the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and on to the next one. Keep editing.